tell people all the time that if you could actually develop another set of skills, another source of income, in addition to what you have going on with your stable, secure job, wouldn't that give you more security versus less security than you have now?
Walter, I'm so glad you're here with me today, a chance for us to chat a little bit. I know people who listen to this would love to know a little bit more about you and why you're here.
Yeah, so I actually came from a banking background. I did everything I was supposed to do. I went to college, graduated with a business degree, and I didn't have a job offer coming out of college. So that would told me at first that, hey, you're not guaranteed anything just by getting a college degree. Fortunately, I was able to land a job in banking, worked for 3 different banks in 5 years, and I was frustrated. I was like a burnout at 25, and so
Crazy.
I wasn't looking for a Primerica. Primerica found me, but I was open enough to show up for an interview, and I really was impressed with what the company stood for, their principles, the concepts I was taught, and I just really never looked back from there.
Yeah, excellent. And it's funny, you come out of college and there was no job. We talk to people about the deception of the corporate dream, but there's also the deception of the college dream. That thing that our parents told us, get a good education, you'll get a good job, stay with that job for 40 years. Nothing could be farther from the truth, right?
Yeah, it's really what it really boils down to is that you have to manage your own career path and make choices that are going to allow you to put your best foot forward when it comes to creating what I call career insurance.
Sure.
Another set of skills, another source of income, something you can fall back on in the case that you get laid off, furloughed, downsized, because that's just it's just a matter of time, really.
Yeah, excellent. And don't you think that's why people get into side gigs? I mean, everybody wants a little side gig. Is it really because they want a side gig or they just want some security in their life?
Yeah, I think people are looking for that extra source of income so that they're not dependent on an employer. Really, I mean, they want to have the money to do the extra things that they can't do because their employer's dictating their income, and people are wanting to have more control.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when I think about that and I think about people and I think about myself, because all I wanted when I started in this business, all I wanted was a little extra money so I could get out of debt, save some money for retirement, and go on a vacation every year that I didn't put on a credit card. And I thought if that would be it, if that's all I did, that would be the living end. I mean, that would be it. And what I found out is I could learn more, I could do more, I could make more, and it led to a career change that has really changed my life and the lives of so many people. Don't you see that too?
I do, and I tell your story a lot, Gary. The fact that you were started part time, that you got to a point where you were making more money in your part-time
Side gig.
gig with Primerica than you're making your full-time job. So it made it an easier decision for you. My journey was a little bit more, I call it the long and winding road, right? And I think that does happen too, that you have to kind of, yeah, at some point you got to plant your flag, and you got to, when that fork in the road comes, which it's coming, you have to be in a position to make the right choice. And for me, it was committing to, come full-time here and really kind of burn my bridge with the corporate world. And that was not an easy decision, but it definitely is something I'm glad I was able to do.
Yeah, I think we're all going to be led in our paths by circumstances. Whatever those circumstances are, we get faced with them. Just like you graduating from college and not having a job offer, that's a circumstance. You didn't choose it that way, but you had to do something to figure it out and go make it happen. And sometimes people settle, don't you think? I mean, they just settle like, well, this is just enough. If I could just do this, it'll be enough. If I could just like I was settling when I first started in the business, I was settling in my mind for just making enough to get those little things done. But once I discovered that, then I realized, well, if they're doing it, maybe I could too.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I just think about if someone had come to me when I was a banker and I was an officer at the bank, I had, keys to the vault. I wore a suit and tie every
So you
day.
had, no, wait a minute, you had keys to the vault.
I had keys to the vault.
How
Yeah.
much of that was yours in the vault?
None really.
Oh,
but,
none. Oh,
but
okay. I just wanted to be sure.
yeah,
Okay.
but I had override authority. I had a parking spot, in downtown Oakland, which was
That's
a
cool.
luxury at that
Yeah.
point in
Yeah.
my life. And so, yeah, someone come to me and said, "Hey, you got to quit your job, give up your benefits, and come here full time without any guarantee that you're going to be successful." I would have probably said thanks,
Yeah.
but no thanks.
Exactly.
Thankfully, they offered me a part-time opportunity. I was able to get my foot in the water, and that's what really encouraged me to overcome that fear and that apprehension about doing something that was outside my comfort zone.
Fear. That's really it, isn't it? I know that was it for me, fear. And I think it is with most people. You know, you can offer somebody a path, a way to go. But if they see it like jumping off a cliff or jumping out of an airplane without a parachute, they're not going to do it. There's too much danger involved.
Right.
And security is what we're all seeking. We want to have that predictable, reoccurring income. And I had that when I worked in the grocery store. The challenge was it was predictable, it was reoccurring, it just wasn't enough. And so
Yeah.
I needed another path. And don't you see that a lot too today? People that feel very secure in what they have, but what they have is not enough.
It's really a semblance of security, right? And so I tell people all the time that if you could actually develop another set of skills, another source of income, in addition to what you have going on with your stable, secure job, wouldn't that give you more security versus less security than you have now?
Well, you would think so. Doesn't that sound logical?
It is.
Sounds very logical, okay? But it's always the emotions that stop us anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, you're absolutely right about it. And if you think about it, the ways that there are to make money, okay? And people say, oh, well, you could be a doctor, you could be a dentist, you could be all those different things, right? But the truth of the matter is, there's really only 4 ways in the world to make money. You're either going to work for someone else and be an employee, right? Or you can be self-employed. And for most people being self-employed, that means they own the job. They don't really have a business. They call it, oh, I have my own business. Oh, really? What do you do? Well, I'm a mechanic. Oh, how many mechanic shops do you have? Huh? They don't have any.
Right.
And so they think they have a business, and I know they turn in a business tax statement, but it's really not a business. They just have a job. They're their boss. They're their own boss. And so with those 2 ways, when you work, you get paid.
Right.
But what I found out, and I think what we all find out, is when you don't work, what happens?
You don't get paid.
You don't get paid. And so you're talking about that side gig. That's the other side. Describe that other side for me. What does that really mean to you?
Yeah.
The other 2 ways to make money.
Yeah, well, the other 2 ways, and you know my story, Gary. I spent a long time in our business in the self-employed quadrant, right? And thankfully, you're able to make a full-time income on a part-time contract, which I did for quite some time. Now, as a regional vice president, I'm looking to move on to that right side, which is that business owner quadrant, where you could have both the time and the money, and leverage your time to do things that can allow you to make more money.
That's
And
right.
that means you need to involve other people. So I'm looking to bring some people with me.
Of course.
Right, and that's the first step towards, becoming financially free in a much more faster trajectory.
Right. Well, and you know what? And that's so powerful because you've gained skills that are very profitable. You can make money, right? And if those skills, if someone chooses to learn those skills from you, then they can make money.
Right.
And that really is the whole deal. Because if I wasn't making money doing what I was doing, I was never going to convince somebody else to do what I do. I had to make money first. And you've done that. And I applaud you for that, because a lot of people just don't. I mean, they rather than make money, they make excuses. And the truth of the matter is you can't do both at the same time.
Right.
And so you think about that and you think about your journey. Let's talk about the journey for a second, because that really is a big, big deal. So many people think about the journey that they have to have success, and they think about doing it all by themselves. And the beauty of what we do is you have a chance to build a company within a company and leverage the assets of the company into your company, and the assets of your leadership into your company, okay? And in that process, in the process of building your own company within a company, one of the things we do is events. We just
Right.
came off of a major event.
Yeah. Powerful.
What did that mean to you, and what do you think it meant to the people that were there?
Well, I was able to take some great notes from that event, some great speakers, just with very diverse backgrounds. And what it really allows you to do is it resells you on the decision that at least I made years ago to get involved in this business. And it allows you to have people there that maybe know your story and you bought into your leadership. But there's people out there that have a story that really is going to resonate more with their particular
Absolutely.
experience. So it's a really there's no other way you can really do that. Obviously, you can watch a video, you can send them to a web page, but there's nothing like actually getting that in person.
Yeah, exactly. And that message really of getting the right message from the right person, even though the message might be the same, but getting that message from the right person. If one message was satisfactory for every person in the world, there would be no libraries, or the libraries would only have one book.
Right.
Okay? And that's just not the way it is. Okay? And so that's important. That's a powerful piece of the message, that we have those events.